Oh my God.
So I'm like, man, I'll take you in the back and make you cry, like make you scream, dude. Like, what are you talking about? But if I make it, we even. So I'm like, oh, all right. So I shoot, I make it, boom. He shot, he missed, bam. I said, so you got me 100? And he was like, bet. I'm like, all right. So I shot, I make it. He shot, he make it. So I'm like, you still owe me 100?
Yeah.
And so he like, no, we even. I'm like, I start laughing. I'm like, dude, you owe me.
Terence Crawford went at Floyd Mayweather once more during a live interview, calling him a clout chaser and saying fighting him would be easy money. This came after Floyd tried to push him into a match through tweets. Crawford said Floyd is broke, mocking his biggest win just to get another big payday to fund his lifestyle. He also made it clear he's not chasing quick cash and pointed out that Floyd's time is gone, which shows in his recent appearances.
Opportunity presented itself against Floyd, you would have, though, even though you admire him so much and he's so great. But you
Floyd, yeah, because
Crawford added that Floyd is hard to like and has been trying to steal the spotlight since his win over Canelo. He said Mayweather isn't a good role model because his life outside boxing isn't worth copying. After Crawford's win over Canelo Alvarez, becoming undisputed at super middleweight, challengers lined up, but he wasn't interested. Floyd, a Hall of Famer and 5-division champ, wants a fight with Crawford, the 3-time undisputed king, after being out of the ring for years.
Shooting the ball, and this dude just come over there and like bet 100. I'm like, what? He like bet 100 on what? He like shot for shot bet 100. So I'm like, so I make it, you give me a play the part.
Canelo said he's way better than Mayweather. What do you think to that?
Who, Terence?
Yeah.
Oh, of course. Of course he is.
What do you want to see?
Floyd didn't back Crawford before the fight, only posting his betting slip and winnings after Crawford won. Crawford said he could have shown support earlier instead of waiting. When Floyd went back online to call him out, Crawford answered by saying he's acting crazy and drunk.
now.
How do you beat Floyd, though? Like, since nobody's been able to crack that code.
You think I would tell you?
He ain't fighting anymore. So that fight ain't gonna happen.
Ilia Topuria could knock out Bud Crawford on first contact. Is there any truth to it? Why is it always the MMA guys gotta go box? It doesn't sell. James Toney and the UFC lost a whole bunch of money with it. If Ilia Topuria really could beat up Terence Crawford, why didn't he go into boxing? Ilia is our champion. After seeing Conor, who could not make an amateur Olympic team.
On fight night, another drama came up. Ilia Topuria wasn't happy that Crawford used the song Canción del Mariachi from Desperado as his walkout, since it's the same one Topuria uses in UFC. Crawford downplayed it at the press conference, but Topuria hit back on social media. He said, "First Crawford calls me drunk, then he leaves while my song plays." On X he wrote, "Crawford, I'll teach you how to dance to that mariachi in the ring anytime. Canelo, I'll keep you next after him."
When I looked at it, he came out in the southpaw stance and he took Canelo's jab away from him. As you know, if you take a fighter's jab away from them, then it's hard for them to really land. You force them to use one shot, and he forced them to use his backhand, his rear hand. Crawford was ready for the loop in the right hands. Crawford was ready for the body shot.
Carried the song out and performed tonight. I got Mexicans and Latinos on my side as well, so.
Did you know Ilia Topuria walks out to that song in the UFC?
You said what?
Ilia Topuria walks out to that song in the UFC.
Did he? Oh, good for him.
Crawford brushed off Topuria's comments, calling him a clout chaser and not on the level of Conor McGregor. On Ariel Helwani's show, he said Topuria just wants a paycheck like everyone else, but he doesn't get what he's doing. Crawford said he never even saw Topuria fight and wondered why he didn't challenge him months ago when they met at the UFC Performance Institute. He remembered Topuria greeting him casually without saying anything about a fight, and found it funny since he didn't even know who he was.
Crawford stated, "I don't know who he is." Ilia's mad. It works every time, and Ilia went crazy. Ilia's just, "You don't know who I met you at this." When Ilia responds with truth, when he brings the receipts and the facts, that's what you do when you're at.
Later, Crawford read online that Topuria claimed he would knock him out in the first round. Crawford said if he really wanted a fight, he should have told him directly instead of talking later. He dismissed the idea, saying crossover fights only work if they bring real value. He asked how much money he would even make fighting Topuria, adding that he's nowhere near McGregor's level. Crawford made it clear he doesn't know him and doesn't see any reason to take it seriously.
having none of it. He's like, who the f is that guy? He's not on my level. He's not on Conor McGregor's level. What the hell is going on? I mean, come on, let's be honest. Jake Paul's fighting Gervonta Davis. If that can happen, or him fighting Mike Tyson, if there's a world that we live in where that can go down and get watched by millions of people on Netflix.
Crawford admitted maybe Topuria can fight but said he's never seen him in action, unlike McGregor who he's watched many times. He stressed people should never compare the two. Topuria hit back online, mocking Crawford for claiming to like MMA but not knowing who he is. He reminded Crawford that he wished him luck the first time they met and warned that soon his chin will forget too. Topuria said he'd fight for the entire MMA community, pitting a UFC champion against boxing's pound-for-pound king.
Conor was always willing to risk it. Ilya, I believe, is willing to risk it. Ilya versus Crawford. Am I wasting my time talking to you guys about that? Maybe not. There's not yet something here, but there's not nothing here.
Shakur Stevenson, another boxer, gave a surprising take saying Crawford might actually beat an MMA fighter at his own game. On Helwani's show, he suggested Crawford's wrestling background from his youth in Nebraska could give him the tools to succeed in MMA. Stevenson believed Crawford's skill and strength could carry over into the cage.
I gotta leave Bud alone. I think Bud Crawford is just different. In a boxing ring with him, bro, you're not gonna last more than one round, I don't think. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets in the UFC and beat the out of some guys too, because he got a great wrestling background.
Stevenson added that Topuria is smaller than Crawford, and he wouldn't rule out Crawford knocking him out or even choking him out under MMA rules. He admitted it may sound bold, but he trusted Crawford's athleticism and past wrestling to make it possible. Stevenson's comments showed strong confidence in Crawford's ability to adapt, even if it shocked fans.
Obviously, it was a great show today. I was curious about your entrance, how you came to choose that song in particular to walk out to.
Well, you know, it was part of my outfit. The outfit was inspired by the movie Desperado. As you see, I had the guitar and everything, and my great childhood friend, Rosendo Robles, he was the one that, you know, carried the song out.
Terence Crawford had the goddamn audacity to walk out to Ilya Topuria's walkout song. I mean, what on earth is going on? How dare he? That is Ilya Topuria's song, okay? Ilya Topuria took exception to this in a very big way, and now these two are going back and forth. They are talking shit, and Crawford ain't having none of it.
Daniel Cormier disagreed, saying it's unlikely Crawford could do the same in MMA. He explained that Mayweather and Fury had the star power to make fights with McGregor and Ngannou look competitive, but Crawford isn't built that way. He said McGregor lasting with Floyd and Ngannou going the distance with Fury were amazing, but those fights were designed to look competitive for fans.
How did that feel to hear that from someone like him?
I just was like, well, you know, it's his personal opinion. He was in the ring with both of us, so a lot of people, you know, they can say what they want, but he's actually been in the ring with both of us. You know, one where he felt like he was at the best.
Cormier said Mayweather and Fury knew how to carry fights to keep them entertaining, while Topuria doesn't have McGregor's fame. He admitted beating Topuria could help Crawford but doubted the fight would happen. He noted Crawford has waited his whole career for big moments, and the idea of fighting Topuria could be seen as the next big chance.
UFC world, Ilya Topuria says that if you guys ever boxed, he would knock you out based on the first punch.
That dude drunk, you know. Hey, you know, a lot of MMA guys, they drink a lot, so he must have been on that alcohol that day.
Cormier continued saying many want Crawford to face bigger names that draw larger crowds. Crawford is a big UFC fan and already knows who Topuria is, so it could have been promoted better. Still, Topuria is convinced he can beat the new undisputed super middleweight champ in boxing. Meanwhile, Michael Chiesa told MMA Junkie he didn't like the idea, saying it would just copy the McGregor vs. Mayweather formula. He added Crawford is not Floyd, and putting Topuria in that role doesn't make sense.
I'm betting my money on anybody who mother used to go outside and pay kids money to beat her son up. I'm paying y'all real cash money to beat my son, and nobody got the money. I'm like, wait, I'm betting on that guy.
You betting on that guy?
Big star
UFC, Ilia Topuria, and fight with the #1 boxer right now. If you can do that, why not do that?
We did see Francis Ngannou versus Anthony Joshua.
And you think Topuria can fight with him?
I don't. You asked me straight up, I do not think so, because Crawford is not going to enter a fight.
Chiesa pointed out Crawford doesn't play the showman role like Floyd did. Floyd sold fights with jokes and trash talk, while Crawford sells based on skill alone. He said Ilia isn't like McGregor either, who was one of a kind at promoting. Conor's trash talk was unmatched and entertaining, while Topuria doesn't have that same sharpness. Chiesa also reminded that Dana White doesn't want UFC fighters crossing into boxing, with the McGregor versus Mayweather fight being a one-time exception.
I never seen this guy fight. And I watch a lot of MMA.
Hey, guys, Bud is saying it ain't worth his time. But Ilia Topuria, in this right now, guys, is winning. He's winning because he has him talking about him. And every time, Terence Crawford speaks Ilia's name, Ilia wins. That's another step closer to getting to...
Another warning came from a UFC Hall of Famer after Crawford beat Canelo. Fans noticed Crawford walked out to Antonio Banderas El Mariachi at Allegiant Stadium, streamed by Netflix. Since Topuria also uses the same music, it fueled more talk. Crawford later explained the song was a tribute to Banderas, not aimed at Topuria, but supporters on both sides saw it as a jab.
Topuria goes out and tweets, if I were to face Terence Crawford in boxing, I would put him to sleep. Now, this was after Terence Crawford went on the Nelk Boys podcast. Kyle said, who do you think the best boxer in the UFC is? Have you seen Ilia? He goes, oh no, it's easily Cody Garbrandt.
Have you seen Topuria? Have you seen his fights recently?
Crawford's win over Alvarez left him with little left to prove in boxing, which fueled more speculation of a crossover fight. With other examples like Mayweather versus McGregor and Fury versus Ngannou, people wonder if Crawford might take a big payday against Topuria. But Michael Bisping warned against it, saying it could hurt Crawford's legacy. He explained Crawford doesn't need that kind of fight at this stage.
Interest in fighting him.
For what?
Money.
What money would I get out of fighting him? Tell me how much I'm gonna get out of fighting him.
Floyd made a lot, obviously, to fight Conor.
He's not nowhere near on the level of Conor McGregor. Let's be real, stop it. Don't ever compare him to Conor. Conor was...
When asked if Crawford should even consider Topuria, Bisping firmly said no. He reminded people Crawford is undefeated, 37 years old, and already wealthy with around $50 million. He doesn't need money fights. He compared it to when he himself turned down a fight with Jake Paul, saying his career was already successful and there was no reason to risk his reputation for a sideshow match.
Yeah, but I don't know, man. Cody got them hands.
Obviously, Ilia, that's probably maybe ignited a beef, and Terence Crawford is wrong. Ilia Topuria is the best boxer in the UFC. Does this eventually set up an Ilia into boxing? If Ilia...
Like, you're not gonna see a wild part of the fight. Crawford was just gonna be too clean, too smooth, too fast, and just keep him at distance the whole time, 36 minutes. They wouldn't even sanction a 12-round fight for Ilia Topuria. He's never fought 36.
Chael Sonnen, however, argued Topuria has a fearless mindset similar to McGregor, which could lead to a fight. He said McGregor stood out because he was willing to take risks, both in words and in action, and he sees some of that in Topuria. Sonnen added not many fighters are like that, but Topuria might be. He said Crawford versus Topuria isn't guaranteed but can't be ruled out either.